In the year 1909, U.S. Marshal John Malcolm is blackmailed by his old rival, Texas Ranger Lindsey Kurtz, to hunt a cult-leading outlaw, Leon Cabras. John is joined by sharpshooting rancher Cathryn Engel, tailor's assistant Morwenna Abrams, railway worker Albert Little, hunter Drew Morrill, criminal Walden McDonald, and Mexican lawman Javier Salvador. Together, they are known as the Lion Goats. Last week, our heroes headed south of the border and were sent to an abandoned silver mine, overrun by bandits. Arriving at the site, they spotted the leader, not Leon Cabras, but an old friend of John's.
It can't be. It's Kramer.
Ben?
Who is he? An old friend from a past life. We ran together in the Harlan gang. I have not seen him in 15 years, but I hear about him every now and then drifting across the country. Wanted for more and more robberies and murders. He's dangerous for sure.
He's bolder and rougher looking than I remember, but that's him all right.
Does this change things?
Not at all. I'm not surprised he's running with Cabras if he is. He wasn't known for his strong will. He'd be drawn to a figure like Cabras to lead him.
Do you really think this is part of Kurtz's vendetta against you?
I do. I was an outlaw, he's a Texas Ranger, meant to hunt and kill people like me. And he got some of the Harlan gang, apart from me, Ben, and a dozen others. And he's been trying the last 20 years to take me down.
I rode around the back of the mine and I noticed a small passageway. Two guys came out and had a smoke, went back in. The door was well hidden among the bushes and boulders.
It could be viable. I think I should walk up to the front gate, try talking to Ben. Distract him.
Talk to him? You crazy?
He should be fine. Hopefully he won't shoot me on sight. I can't think of any reason for him to do so. Well, he should have forgotten about that by now. We should keep some rifles up on these rocky outcrops. Cathryn and Morwenna should work. Albert and Drew, head around and cover the back. We'll go up to the front and try talking to Ben. If anything gets hairy, open fire. If anyone goes out the back, Albert and Drew will take it.
And what about the front gates?
I saw the crazy guy Walden had a couple sticks of dynamite in that satchel of his.
Hey, there's half a dozen sticks in here, thank you very much.
Exactly what I was thinking. We blow the hinges on that gate or take the whole wall down.
Leon will not know what hit him. With any luck, he too is hidden within these mines. We could finish this right now.
Wouldn't hold my breath on that one, Javier. Ben Kramer, get out of here!
Malcolm Carver.
It's John now. John Malcolm.
Oh, he's got himself a new name. It's been a long time, John.
20 years, Ben.
Well, what brings you out here today, John Malcolm?
I were traveling through town, heard word of you being out here. I thought I'd ride on over, see how you were doing.
Now, I find myself not much believing that statement.
I was in, Prima Punto east of here.
Prima Punto? Now, that's interesting. I heard this morning some bounty hunters walked into that town this morning. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
I might.
Well, I think you do, John. And I heard that when you left us 20 years ago, Malcolm, you was living large, calling yourself a lawman. Or did I mishear that?
No, I think you heard it clear. Surrender, Ben. Walk away alive and give your boss over.
My boss? Harlan is dead, John. Now, I'm my own boss. You've been sent by your little masters to hunt me down. And what do you think you can do to get me in here?
Well, you know I'm with those bounty hunters, Ben. And I'll tell you, we've got you surrounded. In those hills, behind those bushes, rifles trained on you from all angles. Dynamite at the ready to blow these doors. Got people watching your back door. You aren't getting out.
Back door?
The tunnel coming out back of the hill.
We filled that in.
We saw some of your guys going out of them a few moments ago.
Shoot. Well, we're gonna fill it in.
Really? When?
5 minutes from now. After you're dead.
Always was a poor shot, Ben. Cathryn, however, remember her? She's only got better with age. McDonald, blow the doors!
Way ahead of you, Johnny boy.
Chaos broke out as the lion goats fired onto the mine. John stood back, his pistol in hand, but he didn't fire, as Javier rode in on horseback with his lasso in hand, and managed to round up the bandits and their leader with ease. Those who tried fleeing down the tunnels were cut off by Albert and Drew, but as soon as it had started, it was all over, and the mine was under their control.
We are here for Leon Cabras, sent by the government to apprehend or kill him. Your part in his reign of evil is played out. Tell us where your boss is.
I am my own damn boss. Why ain't anybody been listening?
So you don't work for Cabras?
John, please. Where is Leon Cabras?
I don't know who this Leon Crabass is.
He doesn't know who Cabras is.
I can see that.
Why don't you know who Cabras is?
I don't. Are you hard of hearing?
Well, this is strange.
It's not. Kurtz made us come here to clean up another one of his messes. He's wanted Kramer for years, and now he's got him.
We were right, but at least we're unharmed.
But no closer to finding Cabras. No matter, this is a victory and one we should celebrate.
Javier's backup arrived shortly after to apprehend the criminals, and the Lion Goats rode back into town for the night. Their next assignment came the following morning, a group of cattle rustlers working for Cabras down south. Finding the operation set up in a canyon, hundreds of cattle sorted into pens. Albert made a suggestion.
Why don't we try something similar to before?
I go talk to them?
Not you, me, and Javier. We go down there to distract them, pretending to be buyers in the market for some cattle. They give the signal, or if things turn hairy, Miss Engel takes out the ones with the guns and the ones in the tricky-to-reach places.
You don't know anything about stock buying.
But they don't know that.
I like the sound of this. Let us head down there now.
No, wait. We should think about this a little more.
Everyone, spread out around the canyon. We have more chances of taking them out if we hit them from all angles.
Javier, just wait a minute. We don't have a full plan yet.
We have a plan, John. Have faith.
And be careful not to get a damn bullet in your chest.
We're still in Mexico, right? Is it just me, or are these Mexican bandits all looking a little American?
You boys lost?
No, I think we found what we're looking for.
What?
My name is Javier. This is Albert. We are in the business of cattle. Heard you had some good deals going.
And where would you be hearing that, friend?
We've been traveling through these parts. Heard word of some cattle going cheap. Thought we'd drop by and see what you were offering.
Is that so?
We are willing to pay.
We got a lot of money.
Yeah?
So, looking at what you got here, your livestock looks good. I'm thinking we need about 50 cattle.
All right.
So, that's how much a head, Javier?
Probably about $50.
$50?
Is it 60?
You too new to this, or you just wasting my time?
Sir, the last thing we would want to do is waste your time.
Hey, that's Javier Salvador. He's a sheriff around these parts.
What?
No. Well, maybe I am, but can't a man also have a hobby?
You son of a...
Javier and Albert barely ducked for cover as the rustlers opened fire. Bullets flew. Walden McDonald threw himself with fervent glee into the rustlers with his knife. And in all the commotion, the cattle sprung loose from their pens and began to stampede into the canyon. Realizing it could help, Albert leapt onto the nearest horse and chased after them, quickly managing to calm the animals and herd them back to their pens, where the fighting had drawn to a close. The Lion Goats were once again victorious. Questioning the leader, he immediately surrendered, becoming fearful once Leon Cabras' name was mentioned.
Kurtz had described Cabras as the devil incarnate, and his name seems to evoke the same reaction of fear. I was starting to doubt Cabras' existence. You hadn't heard of him until your boss came to you with a job. The locals haven't said much, and these gangs we were told had ties to Cabras simply don't.
You said you think Kurtz is just getting us to fix any old problems for him.
And I still do. I was thinking Cabras was just a boogeyman, but he's out there. Somewhere.
Captain Salamanca has arrived to help transport these bandits to prison.
Great. I'll put the ringleader on the back of my horse. Excuse me.
Sheriff Salvador, Cathryn, have you been paying attention to Marshal Malcolm lately?
How do you mean?
What is it?
During the shootout, I noticed John just standing there, his pistol in hand, but he never seemed to fire it, at least not today. And his bullet count doesn't seem to have gone down. I counted them on his gun belt. They've not been moved.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it's nothing. I'll have a talk to him later.
Strange.
So, what's our reward for bringing in these cattle rustlers, Marshal?
Nothing as far as I'm aware.
I'm starting to think we're doing this all wrong, Marshal.
Really, Walden?
I'm not getting paid until numero uno bandito basso Leon is brought down. We should save ourselves a bit of trouble and shoot this guy on the back of your horse. Speed things up a bit.
Have you no decency?
We're in the bounty hunting game now, Malcolm. Decency is not a word you apply to it.
You'll do good to keep referring to me as Marshal.
I don't think we're in Texas anymore, Malcolm, so don't go deluding yourself thinking your title is worth jack outside your little town. I'm just saying there's no point in taking alive when someone's worth enough dead. Saves time and effort. Plus, I got a little tip for all you potential bounty hunters here. If you find yourself with a dead bounty, you don't need to card the whole body back. You just need proof you got him.
Trust me, it's easier to transport a hand or a head than a cadaver.
I'll keep that in mind.
Some call it savagery, but they don't even do that. They do take your scalps, though. Wear them on their belts. It's a statement, I'll say that much. You got any, Morwenna?
I think you've used your daily allowance of oxygen, Walden.
The cattle were returned to the village and the rustlers apprehended. The villagers were overjoyed. Only one woman didn't join in on the celebrations. She stood and watched them from the shadows.
Eva! Why aren't you joining in the celebrations?
I'm not in the mood. The lawman, Salvador, he said they were called the lion goats.
See?
I must go. I have a message to send to my brother.
As she rode off into the night, the word of the lion goat's success was sent to Ranger Kurtz and the Bureau of Investigation Agent Robertson to Laredo in the north.
We've got another update from Salamanca down south. Progress on our posse's operations. Here goes. Cattle rustlers apprehended or deceased. No casualties to posse yet. Wire further instructions ASAP, so it's going well for them, it seems. Pity I'd hoped one of them would be dead by now.
Careful, Kurtz. In the Bureau, we try to be a little more empathetic. Like we really don't want our operatives to die.
All right. How about this? How fortunate John and his team have so far evaded death.
Much better. Keep it up, and you could get far. But that's Reyes Silver Mine and Nuevo Rustlers dealt with.
Well, what else have we got in the area for them?
We're spoilt for choice if you're looking for bandit gangs. I did hear there was something stirring up in Bustamante. They had problems with the Comanche, but that was decades ago.
I think we've given the Indians enough trouble in recent years, which balance it out a little more with some of our country's despots, keeping good favor with the Mexican government.
I might know of someone new. I'll check my files tomorrow. Just someone to keep them distracted while we finish locating Cabras.
Take your time. No rush.
Back in the Mexican village the next morning, awaiting their next assignment, John and Javier noticed a wagon full of food arriving. The driver handing it out to the residents and making a bold claim.
Fresh fruit and vegetables, straight from the farms of Leon Cabras. Drinks and meats too. Come grab your share.
Did he just say Leon Cabras?
He did.
Sir, where did you say these came from?
Farms of Leon Cabras, sir.
Farms?
What farms? Where are these farms?
I don't know, sorry. I picked these carts up outside Nuevo Laredo.
Why are you delivering these?
The people need help, sir. Don't you know?
I'm afraid my friend is a little new to this part, if you couldn't tell. I myself do not know these deliveries.
Oh, Javier Salvador. It's an honor to meet you.
Thank you, but why are you doing this?
What's the cost of all this? What do people of Primer Punto owe Cabras?
I don't understand.
What do they pay for these goods?
Nothing, Mr. Salvador. It's a gift from Leon Cabras to keep the people of this region happy.
Why happy? What do you mean?
Not to disrespect our government, sir, but they have other things they think more important than looking after its people.
And Cabras does look after you.
See?
And in return?
Nothing.
Now this ain't right. What else you got in there? Guns? Munitions?
No, it's just food, drink, and other supplies.
Thank you for your help, sir. This is strange. Why would he do this?
That's the $2,000 question.
Far out in the desert, the woman from the village the night before, Ava, had traveled through the night driven by her rage, to a small shack on the plains, a line of telegraph poles leading away from it and off into the distance.
I need to send a message to my brother.
The message was drafted and sent up the line, to a farmhouse many miles north. The farmer wrote out the message and carried it down to the basement, through a hidden door, and down further into the bunker of Leon Cabras. More akin to the study of a great manor, the walls were lined with bookshelves and paintings. Leon was a well-groomed man dressed in a suit and satin smoking jacket, sat by the fireplace reading a book, when the message was handed to him.
Leon, it is your sister Eva. I was in Primer Punto, and a group of Americans arrived a few days ago. They have captured thieves and murderers, and used your name for credit. The local sheriff, leading them, proudly claimed this, and the people think your deeds are done by them. At your word, I will remove them and return the honor to you.
That is odd. Come on, let us write her a reply.
Eva, he has replied.
My sister Eva, how good it is to hear from you. The story you share is a puzzling one. I believe it is in our best interest to leave it be. Do not worry yourself and return home, your brother, Leon.
Dios mío! Write a reply quickly. Perhaps you are not taking this seriously. Americans invade our country, steal your work from you. What is to say they don't start doing bad things in your name, too? I do not need to remind you of the vendetta the government has against you. They will use this against you.
My sister Eva, I understand your concern. I believe the people to be smarter than you give them credit for. They will see through the lies and know that anything bad in my name is false. Nothing bad has yet happened, and I see no cause for alarm. Your brother, Leon.
Leon, how can you be so foolish?
Eva, I am not being foolish. The people who use the name Leon Cabras do not yet cause harm to anyone. It is foolish to assume that they would until their intentions are known. The best course of action is to wait. If you cared for me, you would.
The best course of action, brother, is to strike. It is clear you have forgotten the shame and danger you faced 15 years ago when you fell out of favor with the Mexican government. Why is it you hide away in a bunker away from the world and risk the lives of me and your workers and the common people? You are out of touch and fail to realize the danger you are in. I shall hire a group of mercenaries who will track these liars. Through fire and blade and rope, they shall know the fury of the Cabras.
Oh, Eva, what has become of you? Quick, send another through. Eva, your passion is to be admired. I see now the danger they could pose, but do not risk your life. Over this, come to my farm, and we can plan this together. Your brother, Leon.
But Leon was too late. Eva had already left and rode to Nuevo Laredo, where she had assembled her team and sent them to hunt the lion goats down. Meanwhile, our heroes were sent on increasingly dangerous missions, tackling headhunters, cannibals, and more.
I don't consider myself to be an unreasonable person, Drew. All I ask for is a fair day's pay after a fair day's work. Instead, they've got us running around the country in search of some phantom. As Malcolm says, cleaning up any mess the government couldn't see fit to deal with themselves. And here I am playing second fiddle to some Indian woman playing civilized.
Miss Abrams? She's all right. Was talking to her earlier. She was born and raised in Laredo and worked as a tailor. She's never so much been on a reservation. Wouldn't have known if I hadn't asked.
Okay, maybe I was a little hasty there. But I mean, why am I tossed aside? Wasn't my fault that guy's foot exploded, was it? I said, wasn't it, Drew?
What? Oh, no, I mean, it was an accident. The shotgun was loaded.
Well, no, I knew it was loaded, but I wasn't to know it was to go off. Just like that priest I shot. I mean, just like that priest you shot in Sioux Falls. You weren't to know that was to happen. But remember, Drew, you and me, we've got to stick together. When that cheap bastard Salamanca rocks up, we tell him we want clear instructions on where Cabras is, or at very least payment for what we've done so far. And if the other's getting away, it's just you and me. You got that?
Got it. But hopefully it won't come to that.
A local farmer asked for help. Some of his sheep and goats have been attacked. He even joked it was a chupacabra.
What?
It's a kind of demon or folklore creature. It means goat sucker.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that before. What was the other word?
Cabra. It means goat.
And if you had more than one goat, Cabras.
See?
And what does Leon stand for?
Lion. Lion, goats.
Do you mean to tell me we've been wandering around Mexico for the last week, calling ourselves Leon Cabras? How did this happen?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Drew. He suggested it. Mr. Morrill, here, please.
How did you not realize before, Javier, that lion goats and Leon Cabras meant the same thing?
It never occurred to me that Leon was a name, lion a thing.
You called?
Where did you get the name lion goats from?
That was on the telegram I picked up last week. Only I got to the train station and for some reason the telegram had been translated from English to Spanish.
Why would something like that happen?
I don't know. The guy walked away before he had a chance to explain. Lucky, there was a helpful man there who helped turn it back into English.
So what? He saw the name Leon Cabras and translated it literally to lion goats?
You know, I did think it was a little strange when he said that, but I also thought it sounded like a good name.
Every other telegram instruction I read myself, and I never spotted it. Do you think we've been running in circles, chasing ourselves?
I think we've been traveling around Mexico telling everyone we either are or work for the most dangerous outlaw in the land.
Okay, we'll start calling ourselves that now. It shouldn't cause too much damage, should it?
It was too late. Eva's mercenaries had found them and launched an attack on the camp. Unfortunately for them, the lion goats were too quick and they were soon beaten down.
Everyone all right?
I'm still alive. They got me in the left arm, though, which is lucky, because I'm left. Damn it.
Cathryn!
I'm fine. Morwenna too.
Morrill and McDonald.
What the hell was that?
John, we have a survivor.
Vem todos al infierno?
Who do you work for? Leon Cabras?
Spill your guts! Always spill your guts!
Tell us who you work for, sir, and we will allow you to leave this place.
Not Leon, his sister, Eva. Want you dead for stealing his name.
Where's Leon Cabras?
I don't know, but Eva was a Neurolito. She hired us because he wouldn't do anything. He did not care.
Why didn't he care? Who is he anyway?
I don't know. All this was his sister.
Very well, let him on his way.
No, let me at him.
McDonald, we are dealing with this. Go! Get! Don't even think about touching your guns.
You're just gonna let him go?
Yes, there's no reason to kill him.
Oh, this is all starting to make sense now. All those niggling thoughts in the back of my head. As we rode about the desert trying to find this Cabras and not getting anywhere.
Because you and your sense of duty was sending us the wrong way.
Where are you getting this, Walden?
Oh, well, who's been the one giving us the missions, hey?
Kurtz has been, back in America.
But who receives him here? Mr. Fancy Pants Javier Salvador, supposed lore man, leading us deeper and deeper into the wilderness, nowhere near where we need to go.
Shut it. Everyone listen. It's time you all knew. We were hired by a Texas Ranger called Lindsey Kurtz. He and I go back a few years and he's been hell-bent on seeing me locked up or dead. For those who don't know, when I was young I was an outlaw named of Malcolm Carver. 2 decades later, Kurtz still wants me dead. So he sends me on this mission to find and capture this Leon Cabras, who he's been so keen to compare to the devil. Now I've suspected for the last week everyone else is here for same reasons.
What was my reason?
You volunteered.
Oh, yeah.
They've got us chasing some devil, but in the meantime, they've got us cleaning up every one of their messes, from rustlers to bandits. And I'm thinking they're hoping we get killed in the process. We're all just another mess to be cleaned up.
And what about me?
Maybe you're making your fellow officers look bad, Javier. It's just a theory. Kurtz seemed to suggest it was the truth last we saw him.
Well, that means nothing. It's just as likely Javier's working for Cabras, or Morwenna over there summoned these mercenaries with her savage powers.
Hey, no!
Maybe I should use those on you then, Walden.
Oh, yeah. So tough and scary. You witch.
Pull your head in, Walden. We're riding back to Primer Punto. I want to talk to your friend Salamanca there.
I have the telegrams on me if you want to see them. Here you go. Catch.
Cattle rustlers to the west of Rosa Basin. Poachers on Falcon Lake. Headhunters north of Paris. You know what I'm noticing on all these messages?
What?
Cabras' name isn't on one of them.
So they really haven't been sending us after him.
Whatever you do, John, don't get angry.
I don't get angry anymore. I just get annoyed.
Morwenna spoke to me a few days ago after we fought the cattle rustlers at Rosa Basin. She said you didn't fire your gun once.
She must have been mistaken.
I watched you after she said it, and she was right. You threw yourself into battles, and you're still a quick draw, but you just can't bring yourself to pull the trigger.
And someone'd be happy I wouldn't shoot someone.
I never wanted to ask, but now I need to. Just what happened at that Laredo bank robbery 10 years ago?
Why do you want to know about that?
18 men stormed that bank and shot 3 people. From what I read in the newspapers, as the other deputies sat outside waiting to act, you kicked down that door and shot 15 of them. You were branded a hero, promoted, but moved out to McCarthy and kind of did nothing for 10 years.
I couldn't. How
changed you. And you've been fighting it ever since. I now know why you brought me along. You don't need to be ashamed, John. I've got your back.
Thank you, Miss Engel.
The travel was too much for an injured Albert, and coming to a stop to tend to him, Walden had reached breaking point. He slashed Javier across the arm and grabbed Morwenna, his knife to her throat. He began to laugh as Cathryn and John held their guns on him.
Well, now things have gotten interesting, haven't they, Marshal? And what do you think you're gonna do with that rifle there, Missy? We kill this witch, we question Javier's pal Salamanca, and we get out of this godforsaken country. Well, what's it to be? Try and shoot me and hit her? Well, let me finish it here, hey?
How steady is your weak little hand, Marshal?
Anger clouded John's vision. He couldn't get a shot, and he began to panic as time seemed to slow. But he was snapped out of it by a gunshot. Morwenna was safe, and Walden was dead. John stood in a daze, looking between them all, silent in shock. Had he shot Walden? He couldn't tell.
No!
Leave it, Morrill.
You killed my friend!
Get better friends.
I'll shoot you all!
Drew lunged towards him with his gun, but John pushed the large man back and smacked his gun to the ground before grabbing a shovel from the horse's saddle and shoving it into Drew's hands.
You just proved where your loyalties lie, Morrill. Give your friend a burial and make your own way back to your little log cabin.
What remained of the gang rode off to talk to Javier's contact and hopefully come face to face with Leon Cabras himself. How will this turn out? Tune in next week for the thrilling conclusion to The Lion Goats, or head to cityparkradio.com and look under the podcasts page for the entire series. This series featured the voice talents of Aaron Beck as John Malcolm, Keith Wiggins as Kurtz, Raquel Alty as Cathryn, Jemima Bourne as Morwenna, Jake T. Hodgetts as Javier, Stewart Fulton as Drew, Yossi Vandenberg as Albert and the Rustler, Royce Pentaghast as Walden, Robertson, and Ben Kramer, Matt Langham as the Villagers, Courtney Hayes as Ava, and Joshua Law as Leon Cabras, with the original series narration by Anna Mooms, with music by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com and Brett Van Donsel, produced by City Park Radio.